Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. At AM 630. WMAL.
7:07 on WMAL. Happy Friday, Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson with you. We've got Jake Tapper from ABC News coming up next hour. Also, Brett Baer from the Fox News Channel. We'll talk to those guys about an hour from now. Right now on the line, Doug Nazarian, Chairman, Maryland Public Service Commission. Smart meters. Smart meters are popping up throughout the country. They're going to be in Maryland soon. And a lot of people have some heartburn over these smart meters. They're very concerned about them. Concerned about them for privacy reasons. Concerned about them for cost. I mean, will they actually save me money? People don't want them. Can you opt out of them? And is there a health problem with them? So we brought Doug on the line to kind of talk a little bit about exactly what these smart meters are all about, what they are going to do.
What they are and what they aren't.
Yeah, exactly. Good morning, Doug. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. First of all, smart meters. Do the utilities want these, or does the state want them?
Well, that's a great question. The proposals to install them came to us from the utility companies, but these are going in all across the United States and, in fact, in other parts of the world. They provide an opportunity that I think everybody who either is in these industries or regulates these industries is looking at carefully to see if it's a good thing and a good opportunity for folks.
Okay, I understand it's probably a benefit to the utilities because it may save them money. They're going to be able to figure out when there are outages, and they'll figure out exactly when there are peak usage for electricity. What does the state get out of it? What's the benefit from Maryland's point of view?
Well, from our point of view, we were eventually persuaded to approve them because of the opportunity they give consumers to have more information about how and when they're using electricity, and to use that information to manage their consumption and their bills a lot more closely than they do now. And there also are opportunities that these meters and that the whole communications network around these meters will provide, for example, to control the way your different appliances, your air conditioner, your water heater, and other things you have in your house, how and when they use electricity, and it'll allow us to have the utilities offer different kinds of rate plans that will give people more choices and more opportunities to use their electricity differently and save money when they want.
All right, so exactly how do they work? So the utility company, whether it's BGE or Pepco or whoever I have, will be able to determine exactly what is being used in my house. I mean, they can figure out if my washing machine is running, or if my dishwasher is running, or if my TV is on?
No. All that will happen is the meter you have now, which measures the electricity that's flowing into your house and only measures it in one direction. The new meters simply measure the amount of electricity that's going into your house and communicate that back directly to the utility company, and they measure it on a more frequent basis. So right now what happens is the meter in your house, it measures cumulatively the amount of electricity you use over the course of a month, and somebody comes by and either eyeballs the meter and reads, the current cumulative number against last month's, or they drive by and read that electronically, which in a way I guess is a slightly less smart version of the smart meter. But anyway, what these will do is measure your data more frequently and capture it hourly, so that you can look and see, well, this hour I use this much, this hour I use this much. And then it communicates that back directly to the utility company and allows them to put it on a web portal so that you can see, you could go online and see, well, I used in this hour, or, over the course of yesterday afternoon, I used this much electricity. And it will show it for the whole house. The utility will not be able to see how much any particular appliance or gadget in your house is using. Now, what could down the road, if you have an appliance that's got a capability in terms of a chip to communicate back and forth with that meter, you would have the ability to control it within your house, but the utility can't spy on you like that.
All right, so here's my question, and look, first of all, many people say they are concerned that this is the beginning of a slippery slope. And I'm not sure I agree. I'm just saying this is what people are saying.
Sure.
They're saying, look, okay, now if I decide to run, my dishwasher in the middle of the afternoon during the peak season, now the utility can actually find out that I used a lot of electricity at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when the temperatures were 105 degrees outside, and they might get to the point where, in order to discourage that kind of action, they might charge us more for the electricity. Is that something that could happen?
Well, yeah. The idea of what's called dynamic pricing in electricity is to try and tie the cost of using electricity at different times and the rate that's charged for that. And in fact, that's the way businesses generally buy electricity now, on prices that change. That they change frequently, as much as hourly, or sometimes even more than that, depending on the cost of the electricity.
So you're admitting, if I have this correct, you're saying that in the future we could well find that if you decide to use electricity at a peak time during the day,
it's going to cost more.
You're going to be charged more. That could well happen.
That could happen. In fact, there are people across Maryland who already are on what are called time-of-use pricing plans like that. But one thing to keep in mind is when BG&E originally proposed to do this, part of its plan was to put people automatically on that kind of rate plan, and we said that we were not going to require people to go on a time-of-use rate plan. What we have done is started toward a path of what's called a critical peak rebate, and nobody is on this now. It would start later, and people would obviously know about it, but it would give people a bonus if they reduce their usage at peak time, but not charge them extra.
All right, so here's my last question. Tell me why people are so freaked out by these things. Are you surprised at the reactions you're getting about these meters?
Well, we're not surprised only because we've seen the same kinds of reactions in other places. I mean, the concerns come in really three flavors. There are folks who are concerned that there are some negative health effects from the radio frequency,
the RFID,
the RF that the meters use to communicate, and we've had a lot of evidence about that. We've got before us right now the question of whether we should allow opt-outs on that ground, and I can't really talk any more about it. But we've heard.
Well, why can't you talk any more about it?
What's that?
Why can't you talk any more about it?
Because the Commission's currently in the process of deciding whether we're going to allow an opt-out option, and so it's an active case. And
so if people are concerned about the radio frequencies that are emitted by this, at least the Commission is considering that possibility of an opt-out.
I thought you could. I thought you decided that if you wanted to opt out, you could opt out. You just had to pay a higher rate.
No, we have not decided that yet. Now that's been decided in some other places.
Okay.
That in California and Nevada and Michigan and some other places, they have made that decision. We are still considering whether to allow people to opt out, and if so, on what terms. But the concerns really boil down to, some folks have health concerns. There are concerns, and we share all of these, by the way. There are concerns about privacy and about whether this increased amount of data is going to be used for other purposes, and our regulations are already very clear on this. The utilities can't sell this data or give this data to third parties. The only way it can go anywhere is if the customer decides to share it with somebody else, and if they want to do that, they can, but they don't have to. And then the third question is a critically important one as well, which is the cybersecurity concern, and the concern is that anytime you've got more data being transmitted like this, you create an opening for hackers or other folks, and we're requiring extremely high standards of all the utilities who put these in, and watching that very closely.
Doug, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.